Hold on. Still says it's loading. Good.
Okay, I think we're live. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Helena.
Hi. Yeah, well, welcome everyone who's watching. Yeah, Jason and I had a really sweet call a couple of days ago, and I think this is kind of where the live just came from. It was a very spontaneous idea. We were just joining about the movie gathering that's gonna happen tomorrow with David, and Jason started to share with me just all the prayer and the care and the love that went into this upcoming movie gathering. And I got so inspired when Jason started to share, and I just heard like a tiny bit of what was just happening behind the scenes. And we just joined, actually, I feel just in a very spontaneous idea to, we said, I just told Jason, how am I ever going to transfer this in like a Facebook post or anything? Like, I would love to share with everyone like about this upcoming movie because it feels really deep. The theme is very, very relevant, like for everyone following the course or David's teachings for all these years. And so we just started talking, and it was like, why don't we do a live and we can just live share about, yeah, what's happening behind the scenes. So here we are.
Yeah, I got so excited when I was sharing everything we were all doing for it. And I was like, it just felt so live because sometimes people might think, well, it's just a movie. But, it's so much more than just a movie, which we can get into because a lot of times, well, over the years, a lot of people would watch the very same movie that we might even show. And like, yeah, it was a good movie, and then with the music and the commentary and the space and the quotes and everything at the end, it's like that is way more than a movie. It's like a counseling session because over the years I've seen that if you put out a prayer for something specific, even within a movie, a lot of times right before the line comes in the movie, I'll hear, okay, close your eyes and listen, your line is coming. And then the movie will hit you. But you don't even have to do that here. You can put out the prayer, but it's like through David or whoever's doing the movie, Spirit speaks to them right to your heart to answer all the questions that you never knew you had. So it's like a personal counseling session in a way. Because we're one mind. I was actually looking at these emotion lists, when you do either Byron Katie's worksheet or David, Living Miracles has the instrument for peace, where it asks you to fit in what your upset is, your emotion. And then you have to get to the belief. And there's only like, I don't know, 30 beliefs or something all written out that people rotate. I'm not worthy. I can't get it right. People shouldn't lie. I'm not good enough. There's only so many. Kind of like you were just saying that in preparation for this, it wasn't really an interview, but I said, well, it could be like an interview, but it's really just a joining. So you went and looked up something from Oprah, and yeah, what did you?
Yeah, I told Jason right before our call, 'cause he said maybe it could be an interview. I was like, okay, I've never interviewed anyone. Please just help me. How do I approach it? And I used to watch a lot of Oprah Winfrey when I was younger. So I looked up best interview with Oprah Winfrey, but it was really beautiful because I landed on a 2.5 minute video where Oprah was being interviewed by someone on some kind of, but she said that out of all the thousands of people that she interviewed and the people that have interviewed her, every single person at the end of the interview, the one question or comment that they gave at the very end to Oprah was that okay? Was it okay? And she said, and so she pointed out, everybody that she now speaks to, she just wants to send the message of you're enough. You're enough. You're okay. You're worthy. You're enough.
Yeah.
So it was really beautiful, like Jesus just kind of orchestrating that. And I feel it's part of even like the whole movie theme is around I am sustained by the love of God
Mm.
and divine providence and guidance. So I think the whole journey with even coming to this movie compilation, but like every person that has been involved with every little detail has been guided. And
Mm.
that's like behind the scenes that not always everybody sees. But even when you were just sharing, Jason, about like it does feel like almost like a personalized session, because I've noticed for myself since we've started these movie gatherings every Saturday, and especially the one with you and Emily a couple weeks ago, it was so deep for me. I didn't even know I was going to be like touched that deep with the course quotes and the commentary and the relevancy to the movie. I went into such a deep release, something I didn't even know was in my consciousness. So it just feels like there's a real depth to these movie compilations. So yeah.
Yeah, like with that Oprah interview, whether it's Barack Obama or Nelson Mandela or
Beyonce.
Harry, who?
Beyonce.
Beyonce. If all of them at the end say, "Was that okay?" You can just see that there's this shared belief underneath. Like, am I okay? Was it good? Is it good enough? And so it is a personalized session because there's only so many beliefs, and whatever seems to be up predominantly in the mind at that time, spirit addresses through David quite directly. Lisa Fair once told me that before David was going around, with the current configuration of Living Miracles, way back in the early days, she invited him to do a gathering. She invited all her friends, and all her nurses showed up. Weren't even necessarily into the course. And David did this gathering, and she said it was amazing because she watched as there was this big circle. He went around and in order, without them saying or asking any questions, basically addressed everybody's core issue, so that at the end she was like, wow, she knew what everybody was dealing with, and he went around and spoke to it. Spirit doesn't even need to know. You don't have to even ask. Jesus knows your prayer before you do. So I always like that about prayer. Prayer is not so much so God will answer you. Prayer is so you will recognize the so-called problem, so that the answer, you can recognize the answer. Yeah. And then when you were talking about, I don't know, you said something about individualized. I was thinking of this quote actually was coming to me. Where is it here? Oh yeah. To each he gives a special function in salvation he alone can fill, apart for only him. And I was thinking about that for this movie because what I was telling you was how many hours we put into this. Not from a sense of, oh, it was a lot of work, but just from the joy of, look how much, we put into this. I sat down probably 25 hours if you count watching the movies. Then Sam went in and probably spent 20 hours picking and choosing from the movies to put the compilation together. Then I watched it and picked Bible and Course in Miracles quotes, editing them slightly to fit the scene. Then Soren's probably spent 25 hours editing it all together. Then they did another 8 hours of subtitling. And then we'll show you in a little bit, Zach and Emily are going to join us because they put together some music. Because when I went in to find some music for this movie so that, people would have an emotional reaction, whether it just be gratitude for it's a movie about someone who we can all relate to, that is based on a true story, that really dove into divine providence and I'm sustained by the love to such an extreme way that nobody, and she was cared for by the Spirit so beautifully that nobody after watching this could ever really honestly say, that I need to personally work for God's love, because she's such a demonstration of this. So we wanted some music that would capture that with some montages. And I was looking for something else and I typed in Pearl of Great Price, and then this song showed up. So I asked Emily and Zach if they would sing it so we could put it into the movie. And so they spent a few hours putting it together, and maybe that's even a good time to, unless you have any thoughts, we could shift over to hear the music.
Sure. Yeah, we could do that. It's straight into the experience.
What's that?
It's straight into the experience, like the heart of it. And that's what Sam shared. So I told Jason, I had a little talk with Sam this morning who worked on the video, and he said, yeah, you can be touched by the movie, but actually you're going to be so deeply inspired by it too. Like it's just so incredible. So yeah, I think that's beautiful to hear the song.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a little bit of a studio man here, so I'm going to change. So we've got Zach and Emily here, and I'll let them speak.
Hi everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, we'd love to sing this song for you, Pearl of Great Price, and yeah, it was just a very inspired idea when Jason found that song, and I listened to it first and then shared it with Zach. And you know, it's been a little while since we've had a music collaboration. We've talked about it a little bit, but nothing had come in yet, so this song just felt like a very joyful way to come together and be inspired. So yeah, we'd love to share it with you today. Your voice, the call to follow. I felt your love within my heart. I was longing for your presence. I prayed to know who you are. Heard the stories of the kingdom, the hidden treasures you have sown. I'll give it all for what I've found here. I'm after you and you alone. Jesus, this pearl of great price, this treasure of mine. Jesus, forever my friend, even till the end. Forever my friend. I've heard the stories of the kingdom, the hidden treasures you have sown. I'll give it all for what I found here. I'm after you and you alone. Jesus, this pearl of great price, this treasure of mine. Jesus, forever my friends, even till the end. Jesus, this pearl of great price, this treasure of mine. Jesus, oh Jesus, forever my friend, even till the end. I've heard the stories of the kingdom, hidden treasures you have sown. it all for what I found here. I'm after you and you alone.
Thank you. That gives you a taste of that music, and the piano is going to be underneath, and maybe we'll see if there's even a chance you guys could sing the bridge at some point, even on this live, because we cut it out for the movie, but there's a great, do you guys know the?
No.
We cut it out for the movie, but it's basically words like, I'm tired of influence. I'm tired of trying to be an influence. I'm tired of people trying to gain followers. I just want the presence. I want the spirit. And this movie really demonstrates the presence. You know, she's just very simple and not concerned with anything that normally most of us are concerned with. And the effect that it has on the entire world and everybody, those that met her and that did not meet her. Famous religious leaders around the world, you know, have her book and are commenting on the effect it had on her and have never met her. So it's kind of like when you do things that God would have you do, even if she says, you know, even if in my lifetime I will not recognize the manifestation of this, I leave the results to God. And I know that all good works done with great effort are in the spirit's realm, and there is no loss in that. Because a lot of times people would ask her, you know, do you really think you can make a change one person? And she just like unabashedly says, oh, of course, it's happened the minute I undertake it, because my mind is changed and my perception is changed, and everybody around me reflects that perception. So
yeah, that was one of the things that Sam shared with me this morning. We just had such an inspiring talk, but he was sharing that he's so touched because he said the teachings of this mystic are also brought into prisons, and all sorts of programs were made around these teachings. And he said that it was so touching because the whole message underneath was, it's not like she's like it's like pie in the sky. It's like, no, you can do this too. It's very like, I am a demonstration, but you can do this too. Like, she didn't even point to herself, but like you said, it's really all about the presence. But just, I think that feels really inspiring to me too with the examples. It's like, oh, I can follow that, like I can relate to that, and it's not like going over my, like, it's not conceptual, it's actually very experiential and a demonstration, and it can really inspire me in a very day-to-day practical way. And you can do it too. And that was so beautiful when Sam shared that this morning. I felt really touched, like, oh my God, that's it, like that's
yeah, Sam's even a great demonstration of that, because he's stepped away a bit to handle a few financial matters, but he, as much time as he can, he just gives it over to these movies and preparation to help support. And he's a studio team tomorrow.
Yep.
Isn't he? So it's like he's just giving everything over for free and trusting that God will take care of things that he needs taken care of.
Yeah.
Did he say anything else in your talk, or was that the main thing?
Just that he was so inspired about it. And he said he had a whim months ago to actually make a compilation of these two movies, because it's two movies put together. And he said he had such a whim, and he said he would have done it himself otherwise, but it had never come in. And so he was like so happy that he could be part of this project. And like, yeah, like he said, he's taking his steps, but it's like still like giving everything to what's like right in front of us. And I think that's what she did. Like that's what I like a lot about this. like being so present. And actually last night I wanted to share, I had a dream last night and it felt so relevant to our talk. It was about, you were in the dream, Jason. And it was, I never really remember my dreams. It was like, okay, this is interesting, but it was you and I holding a talk somewhere. And it here actually, La Casa in the Halo room, we were sitting, but every so many seconds we were sitting in another spot and the camera constantly wasn't pointed at us because we were constantly being moved. And it was really interesting. It was so symbolic. I was like, wow. And you were so in the present with everybody. You were just constantly in this holy encounter with everybody around us. And then we went on a walkabout and we took a bus and we didn't have to pay for our ticket. The bus driver was just smiling at us like, okay, you can have a free ride. And then we stopped at a marketplace and the same thing, like you were like this in my dream, they were like this demonstration of like being present with everyone you were meeting and you were giving everything away. And then the last line in the dream was like, I will send you to those that you're meant to meet. That was the line that right before I woke up. And it just touched me. I just felt like this is so symbolic for this movie too, and even the preparations even for my mind, but that feels also in this movie too. Like, I don't know, just the whole theme of we're so guided, like we're so guided and so taken care of. And I feel like the more examples that we see and hear, it is very inspiring and very encouraging. I feel that's why we want to share this and want to keep sharing the parables. And David keeps sharing the parables because we can't hear it enough. I really feel it. I can't hear it enough. The miracles, we want to keep extending them, and then they just keep rippling out. And yeah, so grateful. Like even that, dreams are given. I had a talk with Marina earlier. We're talking about the worship service. Same thing. She had a dream. Like everything is given in all these symbols. And so I just feel this demonstration so important that we see these demonstration of, yes, we are sustained by the love of God and we are cared for completely without exception. It's, yeah, this is our life. I'm really inspired.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Even if nobody shows up, we're still so happy to
Oh yeah.
share it. But at the same time, we're doing this live because you need to know how great these things are.
Yeah.
But while you were talking, I was just reminded of like how important the walkabout is when you're talking about the dreams, and then I will send you to those who, you know, there's movie making and there's supporting each other and living in community. But the thing that touches my heart the most, and I think you'll hear it in David's voice, it's like whenever he talks about those 5 years of being on the road and not knowing where he's going to stay every night and where he's going to go. You know, I didn't do it that long, but for a few years, it was just like I had the book that he wrote, Purpose is the Only Choice. And I would read that and just hitchhike and travel around. I had a little bit of money, but I would just stay in people's homes and people would buy me flights and fly me around. And I ended up working at just different centers, but it was something so magical about that time when you don't work for money. You just, you know, if money needed, it comes, but you just volunteer full time and give your heart to everything for free and to watch how everything that you need is provided. On the road, it's such a big, I don't know, it seems like miracles can just fly at you fast, and you have to be so on things. It's not easy to just be so cushy, and you know, you got your bed where you know it's going to be in the same place every night. So that this movie will inspire that for anyone who wants to shake things up a bit too. But yeah, I was just even thinking more like, so then we got the studio team that's going to spend test calls and hours and sitting there for probably David spends 3, 4, 5 hours. Somebody asked me yesterday, how long is this movie? I said, well, if I was showing it, if it's a 2-hour movie, it's going to be 3 hours. I always liked it, but it's David. So it could be 3, 4, 5 hours. you don't know. So it's a lot, that it's more than just a movie. It's like a full experience with all, how many of us are in this community? 30, 40 of us. All the energy in the moment is behind it and almost so focused on this little screen that comes through. Yeah, we just really wanted to share at least one time what goes on, you know, for these movie gatherings. They're not, movie gatherings is such a misnomer in a way. It's like people think, oh, a movie, 2-hour movie, everyone sits and watches the 2-hour movie. But David's prepping days before watching the movie, and I'm sure the Spirit's giving him insights, and he goes and writes certain things down to character names, and then there's just such an energy, like a focus. And Jesus says in the Course of Miracles, when you can unify all your abilities in one direction, in one purpose, awakening, and then symbolically all of us doing one thing together, it has such an effect on the awakening mind. And that's what we always try to do as a community. We don't really want to be, I'm going to go do this and I'll do this and we'll say hi in a few years. It's like, in a sense, we all want to be in one mind, that whatever everyone's doing is supporting one direction, or we're at least aware it's part of a whole. So yeah, with that, we just invite you tomorrow. What time is this?
Yes, it's 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 10 a.m. Mexico time. We'll start, so that's 5 p.m. Amsterdam time. That's as far as time zones go.
Yeah,
Yes.
Europe can join.
Europe can join. Yep.
And we can put the link in the description.
In the description. The link is in the description. So yeah, very welcome to join for this experience. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jason and Emily and Zach. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful song. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow in the movie gathering, where we will all feel the pearl of great price, where Jesus said, a man who found a treasure in a field sold everything he had to buy that field, and that's the pearl of great price. And it's really the Spirit, or symbolically Jesus. So we'll see you tomorrow for the pearl of great price.
Thank